Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes, and we have a new pope. He's from Chicago. Yes, America. We have a pope named Bob, and he's a White Sox fan. Cardinal Robert Prevost, the first American pope, will take the name Leo XIV. He was selected on the second day of voting for the conclave, where cardinals from around the world gather in the Vatican, the Sistine Chapel, to elect a pope to lead the 1.4 billion Catholics worldwide. It's a scene fresh on the minds of many people around the world who, of course, watched last year's Academy Award-winning film Conclave, which portrays a fictionalized account of this process. In fact, Politico Europe reports many cardinals themselves watched the film in preparation for the actual proceeding.
There we go.
Hello, and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce.
My name is Garrett.
We talk about things, we just don't know where they're going to go.
New pope on the horizon.
Yeah, well, he's not on the horizon. He's like landed.
Right. Yeah. And what's interesting,
the eagle has landed. Yeah.
It was the fastest choice in the history of conclaves.
It took
a day and a bit.
Okay, but hadn't that conclave been going for like a week or so when they actually get isolated or not?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I see.
I thought you watched the movie, Bruce.
I did.
I thought you watched Conclave.
I did watch the movie.
Well, then obviously you missed something. No, they literally go in, and on that first day is when they make their first choices. And then if it doesn't work out, it can go on for days.
Right. I thought they had maybe gone into isolation a while back. So okay. All right. Well,
I guess you're learning at the same time as
everyone else. I know. Absolutely. Conclave was a great movie, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
The end was very unexpected.
Very, yes.
And if you haven't watched it, we won't say anymore. But it's a really good depiction as to what happens in a conclave. And the fact that a number of the bishops who actually, of the cardinals who actually went in there, some had actually watched the movie just to, so this is how it works. It's a reasonably involved system.
Yeah, and whenever that happens, you've got a lot of cardinals who have probably never even, it's probably their first time ever in the Vatican City seeing any of that procedure. So, yeah.
And it was I'm just pulling up something now. There was this was the most amount of countries that was what's the word? The most amount represented. Thank you very much. That was represented in the cardinal. There were actually 70 different countries, and the whole conclave was 133 people. So pretty much over half of the conclave were from various countries like that. Okay, sorry.
Right.
Sorry, everybody was from varying countries, but there were 70 different countries that were represented.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So to tell us a bit more who this pope is.
Well, yeah, and it'll be interesting to hear also what his views are and where he's going to take everything. So Robert Francis Prevost, 69 age 69. Is that fairly? Is that one of the youngest? Eh? So he's going to be Pope number 267, and he will, and he has taken the name of Leo the 14th. Doesn't give reasons why he chose that, but I'm sure that'll come out in the days to come.
Yeah.
First America.
Correct. USA. USA. Yeah.
Although he's considered as much a cardinal from Latin America because of the many years he spent as a missionary in Peru. So yeah, so all this information is according to BBC's websites. Just giving some info there. He was born in 1955, and he is of Spanish and like French/Italian descent. So not surprising that he spoke in Spanish and Italian when he
Italian, yeah.
when he was ordained and all that. So I think that's fairly common. I think pretty much every pope has got Italian blood to a certain extent in them, or not. Not okay. All right.
No. He doesn't have Italian. I don't think he is even part Italian. He's American.
Well, his parents are Spanish and Franco-Italian descent.
Okay. But no,
so it's been part of his lineage.
Not every pope will have an Italian background to them. That's not a prerequisite.
I see. Okay.
You don't have to have that.
All right. Cool. Well,
you can go first. It's fine. The youngest modern day pope was Pope John Paul II. He was 58. That was in 1978. But the youngest pope could be as young as 11.
Wow.
That's way back in the hundreds where that happens. But the modern day one is 58.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so he was ordained as a priest in 1982, and he has his nationality is Peruvian. He's got Peruvian nationality as well. So so he's a bit of a mixture because of all the moving around that he did. But yeah, let's see where he takes the Catholic Church, and let's see where his viewpoints are on different current events and all that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much continuity he's going to have from the previous pope. You know, he had very he was very open-minded.
Yeah, sort of celebrated as being quite progressive.
Yeah.
So this guy could.
It does sound like from the reading which I did like little bit which I managed to read about him, is that he's also thought of as one of the people. So I think that might stay the way it is, which is good.
All right. Actually, what there's something here. It's like he's believed to have shared Francis's views on migrants, the poor, and the environment. Former roommates has described him as outgoing, down to earth, very concerned with the poor. Nothing huge. The new Pope's LGBT views are unclear, but some groups, including the Conservative College of Cardinals, believe he may be less supportive than Francis.
Okay.
This is still in the same article. So
yeah. Well, that's a good background to it all.
Yeah, all of that will come out.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's literally a day or two, so it's still fresh.
Yeah, that's it.
It's cool. Fresh. So a lot of news. That's obviously probably the loudest one. But there was a terror attack that some may know and some may not know in India.
Yes. in the area of Kashmir. Yeah.
Of Kashmir, and more than 20 people were killed.
Yeah, 26 in total. So yeah, that happened on the 22nd of April, where in Kashmir it was mainly Indian tourists in the Baizaran Valley near. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Palalgam in Indian administered Jammu and Kashmir, where a group of extremists. So what? It's the article that I'm reading from is chathamhouse.org, and they're talking about how it's a Pakistan-based terrorist organization called the Resistance Front, and they are currently claiming responsibility for the attack. Whether this will come out as true, we're not sure. The actual government of Pakistan has denied any responsibility. So they're saying, listen, it was just these extremists and that. And it's quite scary if you watch that. Did you so the little sort of selfie video of the guy that was doing the zip line slide?
Yeah, he was on the zip line and he just thought that it was a bit noisy, and that was it. Until he went down further, and then he realized, hold on, that's gunshots and that's people screaming. Yeah, it's hectic.
Yeah, it's quite scary how kind of almost blissfully unaware he was when he was going. He's kind of just smiling at the camera. So now obviously that sparked a new conflict in that area, because now in the last couple of days, India has hit Pakistan with airstrikes and all of that kind of thing. So now we got another escalating conflict, and what's very scary about this one is both countries have got nuclear capabilities, and they've been at loggerheads for so long. That's because you've got Pakistani, who are predominantly a Muslim country, and then India, that's predominantly Hindu. So obviously you have that religious clash and all of that. We won't go too much into the history of this, because it's also one of those age-old conflicts that have been going on for quite a while. But apparently lately the situation between the two countries has been kind of okay. It hasn't been like really hostile. No. And then suddenly you get one group who decides, okay, we're going to go do this. And so, who knows? Was it just them on their own? Was it orchestrated by a higher power to create even more tension in the area? We don't know. So we'll have to see how this goes. But it's almost like we're seeing like almost like an East Asian version of what could maybe turn into like the Israel-Gaza kind of conflict. You've got, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll go to that degree. I mean, it could, and I really hope not.
I think it probably won't be as divisive as the India-Gaza one with regards to like Westerners.
India-Gaza?
Sorry, Israel-Gaza. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like you were saying, it also didn't sort of make as big a news impact as the Israel-Gaza thing. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. So
yeah, I'm not sure if the word is interesting to use, but
well, for want of a better term.
Yeah, no, it's I just want to read something from the Al Jazeera website, where their whole title is "Tension Surges, Both Sides Trade Attack Claims." Pakistan has denied claims by India's armed forces that military stations in Indian-administered Kashmir's Jammu and Udhampur and in Punjab states Pathankot were targeted in drone and missile attacks. No casualties. Pakistan's information minister says his country has engaged only in a defensive response so far to India's attack on his country. As Pakistan's military said, India launched attack drones into Pakistan on Thursday that killed 2 civilians. And at least 48 people have been reported to be killed so far, 32 of them in Pakistan, since India launched missiles on Wednesday that it said targeted terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistani administered Kashmir, and Pakistan retaliated with a barrage of artillery strikes.
Okay.
Yes. So that came from India's side, and then obviously retaliation happens out of that. Yeah. I'm not sure where they would have gotten the viewpoint that it came out of Pakistan. I haven't really deep dived into this because it'll take a lot of stuff in this. I mean, they would have something, I guess, that would make them think, okay, it must be Pakistan doing it. But
Well,
can't really tell you
like I
from
said,
my side. Maybe
like I said, well, like I said, it's the group that claimed responsibility are based in Pakistan.
Oh, they're based in Pakistan. Fair enough.
Yes, they're So they're called the Resistance Front.
Okay.
And they're based there. So that's why. So it's like, well, they came from your country, so we're just gonna nail you.
Yeah.
Because you
supposedly
were harboring them.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds in a bit like Israel's attack is they hit Palestine because of Hamas. So So the Pakistani side is saying, well, we're hitting India spots where we think that there are terrorist camps, and so it's not you, but it's the terrorist camps on the that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know. We'll see where this goes. It's just like we see, it's like, okay, well, someone starts something and then someone retaliates, and then like, okay, well, then the other side now needs to retaliate, and before you know it, it's just So
well, going on from that, as we have been speaking about Palestine and Israel, Hamas has now said that they are not going to be following any form of ceasefire, and they're basing it on the reasoning that Israel is basically making it very difficult to bring in food and health and so forth. So they have
supplies and
humanitarian support, exactly. So they're saying when those doors actually open up, then they are ready to talk again. They basically said they're not going to negotiate because they see no point in doing so as long as the hunger war and extermination war continues on the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
And this is now the pressurized. They're wanting to pressure Israeli Prime Minister to end what the Hamas person calls crimes of hunger, thirst, and killings. Now, from my viewpoint, they posted. So Israel had basically they did a total blockade that was imposed by Israel on March the 2nd on humanitarian. Right. So that's caused, obviously, food shortages. People are struggling to find food for their children. Some are forced to eat expired or rotten food, while others, can't find anything. And the Palestine Red Crescent Society, which is basically like a Red Cross, they said that that this week now that food supplies in Gaza have now completely run out in both local markets and humanitarian distribution centers. They said the population is once again at extreme risk of famine. There is an inability to meet even the minimum daily needs of over 1 million displaced people.
Sure. Sure, that's crazy. It's going to turn into a war of attrition. If you just cut off all the supply lines for food and that, you're just going to wear out the population, so that everyone's just too weak to do anything.
Yeah, the International Committee of the Red Cross, which is what I was mentioning. They said they called for the immediate entry of humanitarian aid, and they warned against its being used as politicization. You and me, big words on this show, bro. Politicization.
I think you pronounce it politicization.
Politicization. That's what I said. Yes.
That's what you said. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Under international humanitarian law, Israel has an obligation to use all means available to ensure that the basic needs of the civilian population under its control are met.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not. And that, to me, again, as much as Israel are trying to prove their point, trying to make a point, and trying to get out Hamas, understandable from what happened to them right in the beginning of this. The people who are Hamas will guaranteed have food and drink. They'll be fine. They make their own way.
Yeah.
But the people who aren't even part of the war are the ones who are basically getting starved. And I mean, it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And that's typically what happens. So, well, I don't know.
So now there's a new plan, but it is supposedly they're working on a plan where Palestinian families would be allowed to take one food parcel a week in designated hubs in southern Gaza, that Israel would permit 60 trucks to enter the Gaza. So this hasn't happened. This is an option. That Israel would permit 60 trucks to enter the Gaza strips every day, but this is just 1/10 of what's needed. So that hasn't even happened yet. Right now, it's just sorry for you. You're part of the problem, and sorry, you're not the fault, but you're part of the solution right now, and you're not going to be getting any food and health from it. Then what's concerning for me is that there was also a conversation within that, which I was reading elsewhere, that the Israeli army it's a option that they would be able to clear out Gaza and then lay claim to it. Now, obviously, that is I don't know if that's completely proven or not, but just the conversation about it.
Yeah, the fact that that's happening. Yeah,
that's even a conversation in there just makes you because they have displaced, the majority of Palestinians have been displaced from the Gaza Strip. Yeah. So it's like it's already mostly demolished. So that's kind of, I guess, the option is just to go in there and take control, using it as an excuse because they have to be right near where Hamas is. Therefore, they're going to land in there because of Hamas. At the same time, they've just now managed to take over the Gaza Strip, which has been an issue, obviously, for hundreds of years. Yeah. So, again, that's not a proven thing. It's just been spoken about, but it just asks a lot of questions.
Yeah, jeez. I just want to, it's when you hear information like that and whatever, you really do struggle to, you do really struggle with like which side are you actually picking, because we've talked about this whole thing of like, people are so quick to pick sides in that particular conflict. But then it's like, okay, fine, we understand that you're trying to take out a terrorist group or whatever, but at least let the humanitarian aid in whenever you can.
Yeah.
Jeepers, like, come on,
Absolutely.
it's like understand that there are millions of innocent people who have got nothing to do with the conflict. They just happen to be living in the wrong place at the wrong time.
100%.
And oh geez.
Yeah, that's the problem with war, is that what's the phrase? Sometimes in war there will be collateral damage. It's a phrase that's used a lot in war. That collateral damage is basically being that that sometimes innocent people have to die because they just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair, and it's something that, they say all's fair in love and war. I'm sorry, but
not in war.
When those types of innocents get displaced, killed, or whatever, because of some conflict that they've got nothing to do with, there's nothing fair about that.
No. Now again, that could be spoken. So someone could say, well, that's exactly what happened to Israel in that horrible terror attack. They were just there, wrong time, wrong place.
Just doing their thing.
They were just out enjoying life, and people. I mean, huge amount of people died. So that could be another view. Well, it happened there. So why are you moaning now about the Palestinians who were dying? Because a lot of Israeli people died in the beginning. So it's kind of like, it's a very touchy issue, obviously. The bottom line is, when innocent people die, it's bad. No matter what side of the country's world, no matter what side of the war in general, any war is, when innocent people die, innocent people are dying. Now,
it's all just gonna happen every single time.
And you can't use one against the other, saying, well, because we died, then you died, or I mean, it's such a difficult situation. I mean, if you support either, whatever. I think we did say in one of our last episodes about Israel and Palestine, is that it's really there are no winners here. I don't think anyone's going to win.
No. So so people are just living their lives in the middle of this conflict, and that's just I don't know.
Well, moving on from that.
We do have a couple of lighter stories as well.
Yes, because this was the week we were going to talk about a terror attack in Munich, but then Bruce realized that this was actually in February. So, but still, I wasn't aware, and I'm sure, I guess, a lot of words were and a lot of weren't, but that was also quite intense as well. That was in Munich, but that was again 2 months ago. So if you really want to know, really look into it. You said there were a few light ones. Do you have one, Bruce?
Well, we haven't talked about President Donald J. Trump in a while.
True. There are actually quite a few ones, and his are very light. Fire away, Bruce. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it's the one that you told me about that I wasn't even aware of, but he wants to reopen Alcatraz. The Rock is being opened for business once again. Cue Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
And Sean Connery fighting on the roof. Yeah. Now that's What do you think about that one?
Yeah, he just it's just, I think, yeah, it's his idea that he just wants to open another prison facility to house sort of dangerous criminals. Unfortunately, from what I researched on and looked through, that is that the entire prison of Alcatraz would have to be torn down and rebuilt from scratch in order for it to fit. In order for it to fit the standards of to actually house people. I mean, there's nothing on the island. It's completely. It's administered by the national park. They've made it a national park, and so it's a tourist attraction, just like we saw in the movie. If you haven't seen The Rock Ghost yet, you'll find it. And so you as a tourist can go on guided tours around Alcatraz and that, and the infrastructure has been completely. There's nothing really there. It's like here in South Africa that Kempton Park Hospital is probably pretty much the same thing, or maybe a little bit.
You're equating a hospital to Alcatraz prison.
No, I'm saying complete lack of infrastructure, no water, no sanitation,
that makes sense.
All that kind of thing. Although there's probably a little bit better. They at least probably have public bathrooms.
So it actually closed down in March in 1963.
Sure.
And since then, it hasn't been highly maintained for a prison. It's been maintained, obviously, for
as a tourist attraction.
The tourist attraction, but to actually have like people living there every day.
Yeah.
It was, because it was saying that there was a big escape I didn't know this, in June 1962. And it basically had a bunch of investigations as to why it happened. That combined with the structural problems and expensive operation, it closed on the 21st of March, 1963.
Yeah.
So I just found it very funny. I really don't think that's going to happen. I just laughed. It's Trump.
I also can't see it. I can't see that happening.
No,
because it's going to be massive taxpayers' expense. It's
just not possible. And plus, the country doesn't even need it. There's no need for it.
Yeah.
So, and I was watching a talk show. I can't remember the exact wording he used about this whole thing, but he said he sometimes wonders if Trump wakes up every morning and has an idea and saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. Today is Alcatraz." He's just like Alcatraz, and then his day carries on, because I think he feels that he's like the most powerful person in the world and he can just do what he wants. And today we'll do Alcatraz, or like even like the nitty gritties, which we won't get into much, but where where he is told specifically that he cannot do a certain thing, he would like, Constitution. What Constitution? I mean, he likes to have this thing. He has to think, maybe we'll let the president be here for a third running. Why not? So I do feel that he does wake up once in a while and go, what can I do today? and then the other thing, which isn't too funny, but I'll be interested to see how it impacts the movie world, is he's going to be doing 100% tariffs on films made outside of America.
Yeah.
Where would you shoot something like Lord of the Rings? That would be matched. That's just an example where the scenery and just everything about Lord of the Rings would have been difficult, not impossible, but quite difficult to film in America, because there's just certain things that can be, that are in certain countries that just look amazing with the nature, whatever it is. Sure, some countries have made it easier where their tax is lower if you film there. So I guess he's saying, well, other countries are taking America's money, so now if you want to do it outside of America, then we're going to now charge you for it.
Yeah, and it's that's why a lot of American movies have been filmed here in South Africa, because it's been so much cheaper to film, all of that kind of thing. You roll into South Africa. Roll into South
G20 was
Africa
a
with
movie which I recently watched. Was shot in Cape Town. Such a cool movie.
G20. About the whole G20 conference.
G20 conference, and where the female American president gets in, and where her family is basically taken hostage, and there's a whole. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and she kicks ass,
Jeepers.
which is even cooler.
I didn't even know about it. Who's in it?
Well, now you know.
Who's in it?
What is her name? Regina Hall? No. I'll tell you now.
I know the name, Regina Hall.
Hold on now. I don't think it's Regina. Hold on for me. Viola Davis. Viola Davis.
Okay.
Very, very good. It's very cool. Very good action. But a lot of it was actually filmed in Cape Town. So going on this proposed new tariff that would have made it a lot more difficult. And then again, that means that other countries around the world are going to struggle, not struggle, but they won't be getting as much income. And at the same time, a lot of countries make a huge amount in tourism because people have seen certain things in movies. Lord of the Rings is a very good example.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings has brought in millions of people here and millions of dollars continuously.
Yeah.
So that it just like ask the questions, how is that going to look? Are a lot of movies now going to be used on green screens, special effects, CGI to make up for what they can't get from another country?
Yeah.
Will movies begin to look similar over time because they're filming in the same areas? Just a bunch of questions.
Yeah. It's well, I've like I was saying to you on our messages, I do follow. I'm following a South African actor that I know. He was remember Isidingo, that South African soap opera.
Yeah.
And anyway, he was an actor on that. That's where he got his start, and he's done some Neil Blomkamp movies. He's been in Elysium. He's been in District 9. And I'm following him because he's now getting really onto the whole thing of South African independent filmmakers, and now also that's he's seeing that this is sort of like a it's obviously now financially South Africa won't have the influx of dollars if America stops filming here, but then he's also saying that it can sort of spark a new sort of era for independent filmmakers who are not beholden to Hollywood and sort of really make their films themselves. But the South African film industry is not great. It's not doing well at all. So,
but also financially, it'll be a lot harder because if it's an American-based movie, there's oodles of money coming through.
Yeah.
If you're going to be making movies by yourself, but yes, it is possible for sure.
Yeah, but that's where finding passionate investors in South Africa to actually say, okay, cool, I'm gonna get behind this because so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, well, winding this down, we'll do a light ending here. Just recently been released a list of the client baby names of last year of 2024 in New Zealand. I'm gonna
look up my own. I want to see the list for myself as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm not going to be going through them all. There was 71.
Okay, no, it's fine.
There were 71. But this is funny because you got to think about like why would somebody even ask for their child to be named a certain thing? So, and this even tells you how many people, like actually I'm asked for the name. So, for example, 11 people asked if their kid could be named King.
Okay.
Then we have, Prince, Princess, fair enough. We have Rogue. For some reason, they don't like the name Rogue. Rogue's a great name. They didn't like Rogue.
Okay.
Bishop, Crownos. Crownos, I didn't even know was even a name. For some reason, they have a problem with the name Fanny. Fanny, they will not let you name your child Fanny. They won't let you. Fanny's a British derogative word. Fanny, isn't it? No, it's the butt.
Well, this is the thing. Certain countries,
Fanny,
it's the back. Certain countries, it's the front.
It's the front. So maybe in New Zealand, it's the front. So you can't call your
But the thing is, back in the day, like a good 50, 60 years ago, that was a very common name. That was a very common female name.
Yeah.
But nowadays, okay, I can.
So supposedly Fanny cannot be used. Unsurprisingly, even when one person asked, "Can I name my child Messiah?" they went, "No." I just laughed that people actually asked for these names. So these aren't names that they went, "We're just going to write a whole pile of names down and hope that nobody asks." People asked for their names. Royalty.
Yeah.
King spelled Kyng. And for some reason, you can't call your child Casey, spelled KC.
That's
maybe
weird.
Casey,
Why would that be on the list? That's weird.
Casey, KACI or KCY. For some reason, KC. Somebody asked for their child to be called General. Hi, what is your name? My name is General Moore. Oh, hey,
you know what?
General.
You know what? That's setting up that kid to win. Hey? It's like, what's your name?
Oh, he's General.
General. Like flipping hell, you walk in there, you'll own like every room you walk into. Like hell yeah.
General's
flipping
coming.
I gotta be honest, I'm like, why should the government have any say in what I choose to name my children? Kind of thing. I think
we're
that's
not going to get heavy. This is the like.
Yeah, I know. That's just where my mind goes. I'm like, so.
Well, you cannot call your
anyway.
son though Satan, for example, or
okay, all right, but some of these, I mean, like.
Which, by the way, somebody did actually ask if they could call their son that.
God, there's always one. It's always one.
Hate your child. You got to call them by that name. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know the reasoning. Maybe they are if you use names that might be confrontational, or Bruce. Maybe that's another conversation. I don't know. The point being, I find it quite entertaining that at least 71 people asked. And then there was, which we won't get into. There's a whole pile that were inspired by cannabis. And those are great. So again, would you call your, anyways, there's a whole pile more. But that's it for now. Right, Bruce.
Spliff, joint, dinner's ready.
They're probably thinking something a little bit more classy than split or joint.
Yeah, well, that was all I could come up with because I don't smoke, so
well,
I don't know the terminology. I don't know the terminology, even though it's legal.
Well, that's good. Well, there we go.
Jeez, like.
Oh, because you're not allowed to have a royalty name. A royalty is something that's given to you, so you can't call your child for some reason here. Princess, kingy, kings, prince.
Nah. No, freaking hell. Royalty is what you take. You step on their throats and you take it. No one can tell you if you could be royalty or not. It's all up here. It's up here.
On that note, finish it off, Bruce. We are done. Well, I'm done. I don't know about you.
Well, this has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast, and
Postcast.
this postcast, and this was the week
Wow.
that was. This
was the week that weeks. Yes, that's right, Bruce.
the week. This was the week that were.
Thank you, Bruce. Good night.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and join us in the next one. We've got some interesting things that we've been talking about that we want to talk.
Spicy. The next one, if you ever are aware, won't say anything much more, but there's within the Christian terminology and so forth, even in religion, I think in general, there's something spoken about as an antichrist.
Yeah.
And let's just say we might have found him. You got to wait for a week. I don't know why you're laughing. It's possible.
Starting with the clickbait now.
Well, yeah, but it's possible that this person could be.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I mean, it's been multiple news reports. We're going to basically break it down as to, is this actually viable or just somebody else on a power trip? Stay tuned.
Cool. It'll be an interesting one.
It will.
Goodbye, everybody. See you in the next one.
Goodbye.